Hello and welcome to What the F*** Just Happened Today, your essential guide to the daily shock and awe in national politics. I'm Joe Amditis. Let's get to it. It's Monday, November 28th, 2022. Welcome to day 678. Joe Biden renewed his call for a ban on assault weapons following mass shootings at a Walmart in Virginia and an LGBTQ nightclub in Colorado, saying, quote, "The idea we still allow semi-automatic weapons to be purchased is sick. It's just sick. It has no social redeeming values. Zero. None. Not a single solitary rationale for it, except profit for the gun manufacturer." End quote. Democrats, however, do not have the 60 votes required in the Senate to overcome a filibuster in order to advance an assault weapons ban bill, which the House passed in July. The window to enact legislation is also closing as Republicans are set to take a majority in the House in January. Meanwhile, the FBI and Homeland Security have failed to address domestic terrorism, this according to a report by the Senate Homeland Security and Governmental Affairs Committee. Since 2019, both Homeland Security and the FBI have repeatedly identified domestic terrorism, specifically white supremacist violence, as the most, quote, persistent and lethal terrorist threat to the homeland, end quote. The federal government, however, has continued to disproportionately allocate resources to international terrorist threats instead, according to the 3-year investigation. Quote, DHS and FBI's inability to provide comprehensive data on the domestic terrorist threat creates serious conditions that they are not effectively prioritizing our counterterrorism resources to address the rising domestic terrorist threat, end quote. This according to a statement from the committee's chairman. In related news, Trump had dinner with white nationalist and antisemite Nick Fuentes at Mar-a-Lago last week. Fuentes is a far-right activist who frequently promotes racist and anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. Also at the dinner was Kanye West, who now goes by Ye, who recently lost endorsement deals after making a series of anti-Semitic remarks. Fuentes is reportedly helping Ye with his second presidential campaign. Following the dinner, Ye posted a video claiming that Trump is really impressed with Fuentes. In a statement, the White House said, quote, "Bigotry, hate, and anti-Semitism have absolutely no place in America, including at Mar-a-Lago. Holocaust denial is repugnant and dangerous, and it must be forcefully condemned," end quote. The Democratic National Committee added, quote, "If it was any other party, breaking bread with Nick Fuentes would be instantly disqualifying for Trump," end quote. Republican lawmakers have largely remained silent following Trump's dinner with an anti-Semitic rapper and white nationalist activist. Trump has also repeatedly refused to disavow Fuentes. Moving on, the Justice Department is seeking to question Mike Pence about Trump's efforts to disrupt the transfer of power after the 2020 election. Pence is reportedly open to considering the request, but it's unclear if Trump will attempt to assert executive privilege to block any potential testimony. Pence's chief of staff and chief counsel have already testified to the grand jury investigating the matter. Separately, Kellyanne Conway voluntarily met with the January 6th committee and spoke on the record. In Georgia, the Supreme Court reinstated the state's 6-week ban on abortions. A lower court ruling last week had put the ban on hold, calling it unconstitutional. In a one-page order, the justices put the lower court ruling on hold while they consider an appeal by Georgia's Attorney General. And finally, the Biden administration eased some oil sanctions against Venezuela, and the Treasury Department granted Chevron a limited license to pump and export oil from the South American country. The 6-month license stipulates that any oil produced can only be exported to the United States, and that profits from the sale of energy would be directed to paying down debt owed to Chevron, rather than going to the state-run oil company PDVSA. Chevron is the only remaining active U.S. oil company in Venezuela, but has been barred by sanctions from operating there. That's all for now. You can find the links and sources for all of these stories on the main website. And as always, visit whatthefjusthappenedtoday.com for the latest news and headlines. Until next time, I'm Joe Amditis.